A night before a planned anti-regime protest, reports say a group of 1,200 university students were down with food poisoning. Iran's National Student Union says students at the Khwarazmi and Ark universities experienced vomiting, severe body aches, and even hallucinations. Reports say at least 4 other universities reported similar outbreaks. Meanwhile, uninfected students are reportedly boycotting the cafeterias in response, while officials are citing waterborne bacteria as the cause of the symptoms. The Students' Union alleges that they were intentionally poisoned. Some university clinics reportedly closed down or ran out of supplies to treat the symptoms. This fueled speculation that the outbreak was planned to stifle a 3-day strike. The strike was planned in response to the government's claims to have shut down the controversial morality police, formerly known as Gashte Ershad. The morality police was established in 2006 to enforce the country's strict dress code for women. Dating back to the aftermath of the 1979 revolution, the dress code requires all women to wear hijab, head coverings, in public. The group came under fire after the death of 22-year-old student Mahsa Amini in its custody in September. Amini was arrested for allegedly not wearing her hijab properly. Amini's unexplained death gave way to months-long women-led mass protests across the country.
Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Her name is Badri Hossein Khamenei. She says, and I'm quoting, "I think it is appropriate now to declare that I oppose my brother's actions, and I express my sympathy with all mothers mourning the crimes of the Islamic Republic from the time of Khamenei to the current era of the despotic caliphate of Ali Khamenei." Not just that, the sister goes on to ask Iran's Revolutionary Guards to join the people. Listen to this. Ali Khamenei's Revolutionary Guards and mercenaries should lay down their weapons as soon as possible and join the people before it is too late. And then you have a former Iranian president speaking out against the regime. This is Mohammad Khatami. He served 2 terms as president between 1997 and 2005. Khatami is now 79 years old, and he believes officials need to bow down to the demands of the protesters. Khatami has urged the Iranian officials to consider the demand of the protesters before it is quote-unquote too late. And that's not all. Khatami went on to say that the protest slogan, "Woman, Life, Freedom," is beautiful, and it shows that Iran is moving towards a better future. Now, all of this coming on the final day of a 3-day general strike called by the protesters. Earlier today, students gathered at Tehran's Amir Kabir University. It was a show of solidarity. The students waved flags, shouted anti-regime slogans. "Don't be afraid. We are all together," they said. Many also chanted, "Down with the whole regime." Many were seen blocking the roads and setting objects on fire. Many others were supposed to join the anti-regime protest today, but some 1,200 university students fell sick. Students of at least 2 Iranian universities had common symptoms: vomiting, severe body ache, hallucinations. What happened? Iranian officials say the students were infected by a waterborne bacteria. The students say it's sabotage. They believe the regime poisoned the university students to keep them away from the protests. So was this really a case of sabotage? In Iran, only one person gets to answer that, and that is the regime's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. And he has spoken. In fact, Khamenei has called for an overhaul of Iran's cultural system. Khamenei had a meeting with the State Cultural Council where he said, and I'm quoting, "It is necessary to revolutionize the country's cultural structure. The Supreme Council should observe the weaknesses of culture in different fields of the country." What exactly did he mean? What message was the Ayatollah sending to the people?
That the accused was shot 3 times by the father's victim. More than a dozen senior Taliban officials are said to have attended the execution, including acting Interior Minister Sirajuddin Haqqani and the Chief Justice of Afghanistan. The public execution has drawn sharp reactions. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed deep concern. United Nations mission in Afghanistan and the United Nations Human Rights Office have condemned the execution and called on the Taliban to establish an immediate moratorium on death penalty. The United States has denounced public execution as despicable, saying this indicates that the Taliban is returning to the regressive practices of the 1990s. Taliban has hit back, saying retributive justice was the right of the family members of the victims. The execution was announced just as the U.S. official Thomas West met with the Taliban delegation in Afghanistan. West said he raised the deteriorating human rights situation under Taliban regime. Remember, the Taliban have said that they plan to fully enforce aspects of Islamic law, including stonings, floggings, and the amputation of limbs from thieves. And for more on this, we were earlier joined by Fawzia Kufi, who is an Afghan